Trying to get out of the sun here. So.
I know it's tricky, right? Perfect. Okay, we have the recording started, and I'm going to go ahead and paste in a few items in the chat for all of us and share my screen. Great. So welcome to office hours this morning. We have a few things we'll cover. So if you have colleagues that are in other time zones, they can use the QR code to join us early morning Pacific time. So we do office hours then also, and then of course we do this one on Wednesdays once a month. So you have some options there, and we record everything and put it on YouTube so you can watch it after the fact. It's usually posted within 5 or 6 days, so you have some good options there. Okay, a few updates on releases. So we've done a bunch of releases since we had this meeting last time. The latest release for .NET was out yesterday, the day before, 2 days ago. Trying to get my days straight here. So 1.22 is out. There's a bunch of updates in there. If you go ahead to our repo and do the see more, there's just a ton of updates the team's been making for you. And we also have Python that was released this week. 1.11 is out there. A lot of good options and feature updates there. You can see like Anthropic function callings out there. So anyway, you can definitely check out a lot of those pieces. All right, and we've been doing a ton of work about documentation. We'll do a bit of a deep dive just to show off some of that work today. We just did a bunch of pull requests about 10 hours ago for agent framework. So we'll dive into that today. We got some process framework out there that we just announced that we'll talk about just briefly today too. And you can see in the screenshot here, we've reworked the tree a bit to make it easier to find things. So, and the other thing is we've just updated our Python and C# API reference repos also. So we'll take a look at those. And of course, the roadmap is out there. So if you go to GitHub, you'll be able to go to our repo, click on projects, click on Semantic Kernel, and see what the team's working on. And we'll also talk about that just briefly today too. Okay, so we've had a ton of blog posts since we've all met last time. We had one that came out on the 8th of October. And we announced this really cool thing. Semantic Kernel team's been working with the .NET team really since the beginning. They're amazing partners to make sure Semantic Kernel really works in current versions of .NET and future versions. And one of the things we partnered with them on is we've taken our Microsoft Semantic Kernel abstraction layer, which is the very, very bottom of our stack to call out to other services. And we've made that called Microsoft.extensions.ai, and that's going to be directly in .NET 9, which we're really excited about. So now, if you're a partner like an ISV or you have an AI service that you want to have with a .NET SDK, you can start to leverage that. So we're really excited there. Check out the blog post on the blog for some more information. You can try out some samples and things like that. We also have a few other blog posts to check out. Python, if you use Python, we've reached over 1 million downloads for SK-Python now. That's exciting. If you're a Java engineer, we just released 1.3 Java kernel, which is awesome. We have some really good pieces coming there in the next 6 weeks for memory. So to bring that to GA, so that's exciting within the Java kernel also. Structured outputs, if you haven't looked at that, is awesome. You can get full 100% JSON structure guaranteed by the new OpenAI 4 models. So if you use 4, 4.0 mini, all those type of things, that's pretty great if you need JSON coming out. And then the last few that I wanted to highlight, this first one I'm really excited about. This is the process framework. So we did some work here. It's in .NET today. Python will be coming hopefully in the next couple of weeks. It's so you can ground AI. So you can take your exact business process, you can define it. It's all event-driven and stateful. You can run this in Dapper or Microsoft Orleans. And now I can actually have my AI go through my process in order, the same order every time, fully auditable, telemetry is built in. So this one we're really excited about because within a process, you would have many steps. Within each step, you can define what the step should do in terms of, should I just run regular code that I'm used to? Should I call APIs or plugins from this step? Should I have an agent or multi-agents work in this step together? Or should it be a human in the loop step? So I can have different steps do different things, or even a combination of those things. So this one we're really excited about. A lot of customers are starting to leverage this. So definitely, if you haven't checked out the process framework, do that. Check out the blog post and let us know what you think. The other big one here, again, auto function calling. If you're using planners, we've done a blog post, and I think we've shared it here in the past, that the old version of planners has really evolved. A lot of these new models now do awesome planning within the model from function calling. So definitely check that out. We'll look at our documentation in a minute. We even have a guide for you if you're using planners to move to function calling. Observability is out there, so you can use full open telemetry for Python and .NET. So again, a lot of awesome blogs. Check them out if you haven't already. And then the last one is large language models are great. Now, a lot of people are excited about small language models and running models in Onyx. So we have some good samples out there for you for Onyx and for Ollama connector. So check that out too. Okay, so I've been talking a lot about documentation. Let's just look and see what this actually looks like very quickly. So a few things here for the team. So again, we've reworked our documentation quite a bit on our Learn site. The link is in the chat. So now we have to get started here. So you can do the quick start guide. You can see what's supported and what for each language. That's nice. And we've been trying to update that for you. We also have our core concepts of Semantic Kernel. We've done a ton of upgrade to our memory section. So you'll see C#, Python, and Java versions of code in here to get you started. It'll walk you through what to do. You can see all the out-of-box connectors. So again, hopefully that's helpful, because we know a lot of folks are doing things like RAG pattern and getting started there. But what we'll highlight today is our two things. So our agent framework. So again, this is out here. If you haven't tried out the agent framework, it's been out for 11 months now. So you'll see samples for Java and Python there. Java is still coming, so that the Java team is working on porting the agent framework to Java. But this will get you started of how to think about AI agents. If you want to roll your own and do it all yourself, you can do that with chat completions. If you want to use managed services for AI agents like the OpenAI or Azure OpenAI Assistance API, we show you examples of how to do that. There's some really good examples again for streaming, for getting configured, for doing things like code interpreter. So a lot of good options here for you to dive into if you're interested in creating agents to do work for you or for your users. And then again, the other one is process framework. So this is a good overview for you to check out of what is it going to help you do, what are some of those core concepts, and then we have a bunch of samples here on the Learn site, but also we have these same samples out there for you in GitHub for things like account opening process, food delivery, support ticketing. So definitely check that out. And last but not least, like I mentioned, we've been updating our C# and Python APIs. So reference APIs, sorry. So if you haven't seen these before, you can actually go in and see every single class that's out there. You can dive in, you can see what happens with it. It's auto-generated based on the actual packages. So that's a good one to take a look at. So with that, I'm going to talk about one more thing, and then I'm going to turn it over to Vic, and then we'll answer a bunch of questions. The other thing that we hear a lot is like, hey, what's going on with the Semantic Kernel team in terms of what are you working on? Again, our backlog is fully in the open in GitHub. The one thing that to call out is if you want to see what we're working on right this second, you can look at the backlog. And we have this customer conference coming up in about 6 more weeks called Microsoft Ignites. Highly encourage everybody to register for that. You can watch the sessions online on demand. because I know the timing is tricky. It's going to be in the States this year. But if you want to see exactly what the team's doing to get ready for Ignite, because there's no spoilers for Semantic Kernel, everything is here. So you can go and take a look and see exactly what's coming, who's working on it. If you want to add comments or pick up items too, that's awesome. But yeah, so you can take a look at whatever we're up to now. We have 93 open items, and this gets updated in real time. So as soon as someone marks it as done, it's off this list. So take a look at those things. Hopefully that'll be helpful for you to keep up with what's coming, along with, of course, the blog site and everything else. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Vic before we jump into whatever questions that you have, to share a little bit about some other things that are coming.
Yeah, thank you, Evan. So quickly, I'm going to present a little bit one of our customers that's using Semantic Kernel, and they're about to launch a new project or a new product called Shopping Assistant. The company name is Pritzy. You probably would have seen a video about that, and so that's already sort of out there. But I just want to give you a bit of a sneak peek, and I'm doing it on behalf of customers, because he's unfortunately unwell. So I'll do a quick sneak peek of that. It's not going to be a full-on demo. Hopefully they're fully ready by next month. So they're looking to launch a kind of they call it UAT, or pre-pilot, if you will, by this week. And they're very excited to show it to everyone and get feedback. So first of all, I'll just give you a quick background what Pritzy is. So Pritzy is so Preezie. So it's a company that works in the retail industry. So there's two founders that started off with this, and it was really founded on kind of the problem around complication or complexity when shopping online. So how do you make yourself comfortable whenever you buy something? Just say if you want to buy a pair of shoes, or if you want to buy clothing, how hard it is to ensure that the size is correct, or the size is right for you, whether that's something that you can put it on well for you, and so on. And their vision and mission is really about making shopping in store equal to or close as possible doing that online. So that's really their mission. And they've recently come up with a new product called AI Shopping Assistant, and few features that I'm going to show you quickly, and it's going to play a video on that. Was around the biggest usage of any kind of retail website is search. It's always kind of the biggest kind of part of any retail website, e-commerce website and so on. And basically making that search experience as good as possible, and be able to target your need is going to make online shopping a lot accessible. And the second feature that they're going to be releasing as well is called product bundling and suggestions. So their AI agent will recommend, if you buy a pair of shoes or maybe buy a TV, what about speakers that can go along with that? So they're going to start suggesting some bundling or product bundling and suggestions. And they also have a basic comparison feature that they're going to do. This is just initial that's going to evolve. So they can clearly compare products side by side with clear, simple overview. So say, hey, I'm allergic, my skin is allergic to certain materials. So you can actually kind of compare that along and give me another product that's kind of similar to this. And they focus on mobile. That's kind of their mobile sort of target, so everyone can access it anywhere. And they have desktop version that's going to be in progress. And main thing is that it's all about just like if you go to a store, if you want to access someone to ask questions and so on, how hard it is. I mean, in Australia where I live, it's very hard to find any staff to ask any questions. So think about having that assistant that's knowledgeable, that knows the context, and understand, the product really well. So that's really kind of their main vision. So I'm going to roll a video quickly, and then I'll share, and then I will get everyone to see that quickly. Hopefully I can share the sound. Cool. Hopefully everyone can see that.
Yep,
Okay.
I can see it.
Perfect.
If we haven't met before, I look after the marketing function here at Breezy, and I'll be delivering our latest update on the AI shopping assistant. Now, this is a really exciting one because our team have been working extremely hard on enhancing the AI sizing capabilities, which I know is a huge thing for you retailers as well as your customers when they're trying to find the right fit for them when shopping online. So let's dive straight into the update and I can show you the amazing things that it can now do. So let's just say for this scenario, I am going on a cute picnic day with my girlfriends and I want to find a really nice dress to wear for this special occasion. So the AI will go ahead and find me some results and let's have a look at what it brings up. Some really amazing dresses. And I'll just go ahead and select one. I actually personally really like this blue linen dress. So let's select that and the AI will retrieve or provide me some information about this blue dress. The fact that it's lightweight, 100% cotton lining, great. Now you see this panel here on the left has popped up. This is for desktop view, so that's great because we obviously have more real estate. It shows some sizes that are available and provides some additional information around it being true to size. But in this scenario, because I'm going on a picnic with my girlfriends, I want to be comfortable. I want to be able to eat a lot. I want to maybe be able to comfortably walk around and play games if we do that during the picnic. So I'm just going to ask it this question, which I've just pasted in so you don't have to see me type. But will this dress work for sitting down to eat and playing games during the picnic? Let's see what it comes back with now. Okay, great. So it's crafted from lightweight, breathable linen, making it comfortable for sitting down and moving around. Look, I'm getting convinced to purchase this dress, but I really need to make sure I'm the right size. So yes, you can choose between 8 and 10, but say you're in between sizes because mediums often, not all the time, but often can fit, a size 10 or 12. And say I'm comfortable with sharing that I'm a medium and sharing a little bit more about my body type because I don't know whether I want to select a size 10 or size 12. So let's just say, for example, I'm usually a medium that have broad shoulders and narrow hips in this instance. Which size should I pick? Let's ask the AI that and see if it can help me narrow down a decision. Perfect. So the linen dress, you usually wear a medium. I would recommend a size 10 or 12, depending on your bust measurement. So say I actually don't know my bust measurement, but maybe I would know the bust size. But for this example, let's be a little bit non-specific and say, what if I have a small bust size? Okay, perfect. So subtle darts on the bust, which can enhance the fit for smaller bust sizes. It's designed to be true to size so you can feel confident in your choice. Great. Given that it's true to fit and it's got, product features that will fit a smaller bust size, I might lean towards size 10, but just to make more of an informed decision, please give me the measurements for size 10 and 12. All right, so a size 10, here are the bust measurements, and here are the measurements for size 12, also including waist and hip. This dress is true to size, making it a great choice for your picnic with the girls. So looking at these specifications, one might just select size 10 if they know, for example, their hip measurements, and because they have a smaller bust size, maybe size 10 might be better for them. Say I'm just curious about the length of the dress because of my height. So this model looks quite tall and it sits nicely on her shin above the ankle. if I'm a bit short, I might be concerned with how this would look on me. So let's just find out more details about this model, just so we can gauge what the dress would look like wearing it for your specific height, which I will share in a moment. Great, so the model wearing the blue dress is 5'8". Say one might not be that tall and you're a little bit shorter. So let's just say, hey, I'm 5'5". How would the length of this dress work for me? This is just to provide me with a little bit more confidence before I go make the purchase, even though I'm leaning towards a size 10. Great, it shares the length in inches and centimeters. So for sizes 10 and 12, which should sit comfortably below the knee for your height. You know what? I find that this is a great length for the height that I've shared. Obviously, you're sitting down, you want a bit more coverage for your legs, possibly during the day and during the picnic. And I feel like that would make one feel a lot more comfortable. So from here, I can go like my size here and add to cart. But let's tell the AI I'd like to purchase the size 10. Amazing. It's now in my cart. How fabulous is that? Little confetti to celebrate. Can proceed to checkout and we can check out here, which should take me directly to the card information page. And it does. Awesome. Don't mind all the demos there. So,
Alrighty. So that's a little bit of a sneak peek of what Pritzy is doing. And this is obviously one kind of biggest feature that they're looking into around sizing and measurement. And there's other features as well that they are going to be releasing as part of pilot very soon. So looking forward to that. And if you have any feedback as well, I know this is recorded, so please send it to to the Pritzy team. They've got a website, pritzy.com, and also on their contact us as well. So they're looking for any feedback. So appreciate that. Back to you, Evan.
Thanks. That was great. I mean, it's awesome to see AI in action, really helpful for people. Everyone buys things online for the most part. So it's really cool. I think the other cool thing they could do is I saw Azure avatars just went GA. That video running in the corner, you could totally do that with Semantic Kernel with Azure avatars, where that user is helping you through the whole journey, talking back and forth. That would be super killer.
That would be great. Yeah. Okay. I'll definitely pass it on.
I love it.
Thank you.
Well, this is, yeah. Any other feedback? Luke, Dylan, anything you want before we jump into any questions you have? Okay. Well, let's jump in then. Feel free to come off mute or throw in the chat if you have any questions to the Semantic Kernel team, or you're stuck on anything or want guidance on anything. We're here to help.
Hey guys, thanks for the presentation. Just a bit of a question around the developer experience with using Semantic Kernel. I'm wondering, I've seen the new GitHub models feature that's come out that allows for kind of that ease of development testing with different models. I'm wondering if that's something we could maybe see some demos or some examples with Semantic Kernel, kind of like quick starts. I think would be really useful so developers can get hands-on.
Yeah, I love that. I think we can definitely do that. We do have a few things in the repo, not necessarily with the GitHub models yet, but we do have a lot of notebooks. So if we have notebooks for Python and for C#. So that for me is one way I go hands-on very quickly. Is I'll download the notebook, I'll throw in my keys, which you can use actually across all the notebooks, which are great. And then you don't have to worry about like setting up a lot of code or doing anything like that. So I'll paste in a link to just get you started with our notebooks. If you haven't checked them out, again, even for .NET, which is really, really cool. So if you haven't tried those out, definitely check them out. I love that feedback.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah. Let me put in the notebooks also for Python here. Okay. There we go. All right, good feedback. Any other questions? Or any help that's needed?
Yes, Evan, I just put it in the chat. It's actually a question from the Prezi CTO, just around streaming response.
Yeah.
Just put it in there. Happy to read it out for you if you like.
Perfect. You do that, and I will grab the how-to guide for that.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, the question was, they using a lot of streaming, the way they send the response to the users. So basically what they're asking is around once a thread starts processing and response, will it wait and consume the entire response until it's done? They're just a bit worried about, might end up with, they call it like thread starvation, as they are using a lot of streaming response. Is there some guidance or some maybe discussions around this already?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so for streaming, for folks that aren't aware, the models have an optional piece that you can flip on a bit that says, do you want streaming, yes or no? And what this does is for end users, and actually for the video we just saw, it's perfect. Because if you don't have that on, what'll happen is the model will keep thinking and doing its thing. And then when it's fully done, it'll just shoot all the text over as one huge block. That doesn't feel like how we work as humans, right? Unless you're copying and pasting from like a Word doc or something. You're going to chat along the way and get that feedback. So we support streaming for agents. We support streaming just regularly if you're going to call a model through something like chat completions. Actually, this came up even this morning. So a couple of things to think about streaming, and we'll talk about some other things to think about here. But one is, I mentioned at the top of the call, we have some support for things like structured output, which is this JSON blob that you can get 100% of the time, but from some of the newer models that just came out. People were asking this morning, hey, can I do both? Like, can I have streaming, and does that stream back the JSON, and won't that mess it up? The JSON, if you turned on structured output, it'll wait until the whole JSON is formatted, right? Because if you get unformatted JSON streaming back to you, it's not going to do you any good because you can't do anything with it until the whole structure is there. So the cool thing with Semantic Kernel is, again, you don't have to pick just one model, right? So I can say, or even within the same model, I can have different services that I can spin up. So I could have one where I'm chatting back and forth with the agent and getting that streaming result. And I have another one that has structured output turned on. And that way I can use that if I want to do it as like a front end UI. Maybe I want to have it create an adaptive card for me or something and show up in that UI, right? So I have some good options there. The other thing with streaming to think about is the team's done a lot of good work to make sure that your token usage comes back. So if you're using the Python kernel, this is already in place where as streams are coming back in to you as a client, at the end of that, we can get this meta tag, and it'll tell us the exact number of tokens that you've used. For enterprises, a lot of folks will want to take that, use our open telemetry, put it in your own telemetry stream. And that way, if you want to do chargebacks or just kind of see how many tokens you're using, you can do that. That's not quite in for .NET yet. There's some gotchas there that the team's working through. But yeah, so those are some of the kind of high points for streaming. If you start to get into that, it's a great user experience. Like, definitely use it if the model supports it. But you're not going to get it all the time, depending on kind of what features you put in. In terms of kind of that thread ID, so for the folks that are maybe not familiar on the call, the thread ID is if you use the Assistance API. This is a managed service for agents. It'll do things like I can upload files. It'll automatically chunk them for me. The agent will just know about everything I'm passing in. It'll do plugin calls just like you would normally. So it gives you a lot of goodness. The other nice thing it does is it has this thing called a thread. And a thread is, again, part of that managed service where my chat history is in there. So as I keep talking back and forth with the agent, or even if multiple agents are in there or multiple people, I can pass all this to one thread ID. And again, that's my chat history. So my chat history will live on as I'm talking back and forth with my agents. And then I have a few options. I can either store that and say, let's say, Vic, who is showing us the video, if Vic comes into the site and Vic logs in, right, I can store that if I want. And I say, hey, this is everything we know about Vic. These are all the times we've chatted back and forth in a thread ID. The interesting thing with that is that it starts to know me, just like we saw in the video. So if I'm putting in my sizes, if I'm putting in information about me, if I store all that in one thread ID, I can save that thread ID and then reset it up every time Vic comes back. And now I already know all of his sizes. So if he's like, oh, I want some new shorts or the shirt or whatever, the awesome thing from retail is I can say, oh, I know your size. I know I can filter this down. And then if Vic says, no, this is not for me, I'm buying it for a gift, the agent can know all that history. So it's kind of like working memory. So there's some interesting things you can do there. If you use that same thread ID across many users, that's not a best practice, because then if I'm in there, if Sean's in there, if other people are in there, it's going to be really confusing for the AI to look through this chat history and figure out who is the person I'm trying to help here.
Got it. So that's good. Yeah, that really answers the questions and helps them to kind of pick the right paths to go to. Because they just worried about kind of threat or pool salvation, and then it spins up a new thing, but it's something that they can control anyway.
That's right.
It sounds like, so which is good. Yeah. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, any other questions from anybody on the call? Again, feel free to come off mute or raise your hand virtually or in real life. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, not so much a question, but just kind of a use case that I've been looking at with Semantic Kernel, and just wondering if the team's kind of heard anything about similar use cases, is using a agent essentially with Semantic Kernel to consume live chat and then work out if it needs to respond or doesn't. So kind of like as a streaming chat. So to give some context, I do Twitch live coding. And so one of the things I've done on and off is try and build an agent that logs into the chat and is able to then intelligently respond to questions. But I'm looking to see if there's a way to do it where it doesn't need to be specifically called out. It can gain context through the chat to understand, is this something that I can respond to, or should I just wait until something happens? Is that a use case that you've seen?
Yeah, no, and I love this one. So I think there's a few things you can think through here. So one is, you can use some function calling here. So I think you can go through and you need to feed in the stream chat into the agent, right? So you're going to want to have either a hook or some way to get into that chat and send that over. The other thing too is for your let's say AI agent here that's going to help you out, you want to make sure you set the system message to be really specific of, we kind of call this in the past the meta prompt, but it's like, why are you here? What is your job? What are you going to do to be helpful for you, Dylan, right? So the nice thing there is you can say, look, your whole role in life is to monitor this chat, only respond if it's helpful. Don't respond to things that are you don't have answers for. So some of this is some prompting you can put in. We've done this a lot when we have many agents in a chat together, like as one shared either chat history or a thread ID. And if you do those things, if you don't do those things, we'll start with that one. If you have many agents there, the agents want to be helpful, just ingrained into how they've been kind of programmed. So they want to respond and all be really helpful. So if you don't put those type of things in and you ask a question, if I have 3 agents, all 3 will jump in and say, oh, I can help you. I can answer that. I can answer that. Like, I get it. You all can answer this question, but I want only the project manager to answer this question, or I only want the designer to answer this question. And part of that is in the system prompt, you say what types of questions can you answer or should you answer, and what types you should not. That'll help the agents, as you pass in that chat history into it, understand if someone says, oh, that's cool, I don't need to respond. Now, what you can do, which is a lot of fun, is the agents are really awesome at emojis. So if you have emojis in your chat and you want to give them access to like thumbs up, heart, rocket ship, like they're really, really good for some reason at emojis. So they can do those things for you. And then if someone has a real question that they have a knowledge base for, right, they can start to answer that too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's certainly a space I think it's interesting to play with, especially around the fact of getting AIs not to respond and being like, you're not helpful here and you don't need to jump in, so let's hold. Because I think the big one I've had is that they are very chatty and they're like, I'm going to respond to every single message, and they're like, no, hold off.
Exactly. And again, that's where the system prompt there is going to be so important to say, like, you only respond for these type of situations and not these. Like both that positive and negative prompting is going to help you a lot. You can get the chattiness way down. I've done some tricks in the past where if there's like public training facilities that are out there that a lot of people do, like there's a big hotel chain that does like public training that you can pay for. Even telling the agent, hey, you've been trained in these things, or you're trained in this type of system, they know those things. So that's a good shortcut from not having to type in how to behave and how to do these things. They'll act based on knowledge that they have just from the model training. So, start off with telling them that, say this is, when to respond, when not. And I think you'll get some pretty good results.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. How's it going? You should bring back that use case when we meet again next month and hopefully show off what you built.
Yeah. I'll try to find some time.
Okay, yeah.
So many projects right now.
Absolutely. And I think Luke had a good point too. Function calling is going to be good. So if you have the agent's going to need to be able to go in and do things for you, right? That's where function calling comes in. So you can have a set of plugins, one that's going to be able to hit stream to actually respond back, right? So it's going to need access to that API. So the function calling you'll set up your plugins. You'll say what the description of that plugin does. This one responds to chats in stream, and maybe some other ones. Maybe it wants to, go look up some information from like, you can do like Bing or Google search. Both of those plugins are in our repo. If you wanted to go, pull some information from a game or from whatever, you can give it sources and actually have that pull in and do lookups and then respond to, which might be pretty cool based on, whatever you're doing or whatever the situation is there.
Yeah, I think I've got an interesting use case I'm looking at, which is to have, because I'm doing live coding, I'm talking a lot, but have that essentially mapped down from audio to text, and then all that text inserted into, say, a vector database or something, and then have essentially a RAG that's being built on the stream. So if someone comes in and says, hey, what were you talking about 10 minutes ago, or this particular topic, then yeah, you could use a function there to actually call out, try and see if there's context in the database you built for that particular live stream.
And I think that's a perfect one for that use case. And you can do that either local. There's a bunch of local vector stores like for your local feed, and for every video you've already done, it would be awesome to pull all that into vector stores. And then if someone's like, hey, how do I do this? The agent can go find that vector store, find the URL, and say, hey, go look at, 10 minutes in on this video. This is exactly how to go do it. And you can watch it on your own, which might be cool. Okay, Luke has a good question, a couple questions, so I'll answer these. What's the best way to host Semantic Kernel for production? So we'll start with that one. Yeah, so you have some options. So a lot of customers at like large enterprises, if you want to do global deployments, app services is perfect because you can roll that out at scale. I think it'll scale up and out like 30 app services across many regions. So that's a great place to go. If you want to do something local and easy, you can also use things like Azure Functions. Not really great for production. There are some upper limits with how many users can call into an Azure function at once. But you can do that.
Can't wait. Thank you. Thank you, Evan.
Right.
Thank you,
Good
everyone.
seeing everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.